Hello everyone, how the devil? Everyone alright? I remembered what I wanted to talk about yesterday. Anyway, let's do the Oxbridge pleasantries, shall we? Hello, Bailey, Brooke, Tracy, Modite, Tony, Plague Marine, Davey, Danny, Al, Sash, and obviously the Fall Guy. I used to like that programme. I wasn't 5 minutes early, unless my watch is wrong. I thought I was bang on 7. No? This is a cheap smartwatch. Maybe it's wrong. I'm not going to buy an expensive smartwatch. I'm a bootneck. We buy this is a tick watch. It's not a very good one, although it does measure your heart rate. So it could be worse. Right? I'm obviously not going to buy an Apple Watch. I sort of had a moral obligation to Apple because I heard a story that instead of giving their employees a holiday when they all started committing suicide, they're just putting nets under the windows, which is top bants, but not very moral, if you ask me. Smart dumb watch. No, they're not. They're actually useful smartwatches. I quite like them when they've got a heart rate monitor and stuff like that. Sort of seems useful. Like, you don't really need a watch nowadays, do you, when everyone's carrying a mobile phone around? But a smartwatch that plays music and takes your heart rate. Hey, look, I'm under 60 beats per minute while I'm sat chilling. That's good, isn't it? Still in good nick. 59. I do think if they've got a bit of utility, they're quite good. So I'm not a fashionable type of chap. I'm not interested in Rolexes and shit. But I do like them if they have music as well. I like when you can stick a pair of Bluetooth headphones in and go for a run. So yeah, I like smartwatches. It's one of my few extra. Well, does it count as an extravagance? I live a very austere existence, so I class having a watch as an extravagance. But it was like 111 quid or something. It was mega cheap. Are they still murdering Christians in Pakistan? Probably somewhere. Probably somewhere. Seems something relatively common in that neck of the woods. Amazon cares for their workers. If you've seen my meme the other day about Bezos and his piss bottle. Oh shit, hang on. Slip, where's Slip? I've just seen him, her, whichever it is. Was asking me, is my volume down again? Crikey, hang on. 65. Come on, that's all right, isn't it? I'm not going any higher than that. I'll blow my eardrums out. Slip didn't understand the meme, right? And the whole crack with that meme was, in fact, shall I just put it up? Yeah, why not? It's easy. I can explain it via the medium of what? It's like PowerPoint. There's a good one. Biden team adds a translator. That one doesn't need any explanation, does it? This one, Jeff Bezos, when a warehouse employee slows down to 95% efficiency to empty their piss bottle. There was more than one person said they didn't really understand that meme. So the crack with that is, don't take this as condescending. I feel like I'm explaining this to my granddad. But basically, Bezos is a baldy bastard, right? Looks a bit like Professor X. I believe that's who that is off the X-Men cartoon. And apparently, Jeff Bezos, the whole reason he's made so much money is because he's supremely efficient and good at running a business. And apparently, all the employees at Amazon whinge because they say they have to be so quick when they're cracking on at work that they started pissing in a bottle instead of going to the bathroom. So the meme is obviously Jeff Bezos has a fucking meltdown when any of his employees slow their efficiency down and go and empty the piss bottle. As always, being the sort of firmsman that I am, I don't really believe that. I think that the whinging and saying, oh God, I don't even have time to go for a piss. Nowhere I've ever worked has anyone been working that hard where they haven't been able to have a piss. Nowhere I've ever worked. I've worked loads of places where people go on about how they're grafting all the time. And I've never found it to be true. I think probably, like, I walk mega fast naturally. I'm sure if I worked at Amazon in a warehouse, I would be able to go for a piss when I needed to. Text me a minute. In, out, boom. Now, could you go for a shite and spend 6 or 7 minutes text messaging or going on the internet on your smartphone? Maybe you couldn't. But again, not to sound like a heartless conservative bastard on this one, I like a meritocracy at work because I feel my entire life I've always had to carry people. Not in the Marines. The Marines is full of good blokes because there's a very, very rigorous selection process. You don't get made to run round an assault course, run through tyres when you want to work in an office. So in my job, in my working career, I have found that I've ended up carrying people, and it's frustrated me. So maybe I sound like a bit of a firmsman there, but I tend to lean towards believing that Amazon, Google, Facebook and the like aren't anywhere near as bad as the union reps make out. I don't think it's absolute slave labour. The wage seems good, the pension seems good. They don't have any trouble recruiting. So I don't believe that it's fucking slave labour. Jackie, I worked in a car plant and 80% work capacity, found it easy. Yeah, I don't think it's... Yeah, David, totally right. People have a shite at work, takes them 20 minutes. I don't believe that Jeff Bezos works people like slaves. I think people are a bit fucking lazy. And I know that makes me sound like a twat, but there you go. Sorry. You know what I was going to do as well? I thought it'd be a good idea if I could, we could sort of do Bootneck story time, and I could read out some another militant episode, because I sort of found that funny, and a lot of people were like, oh, militant, that's good. So if I can find an easy one, we can do Bootneck story time, and I'll actually read one out. There must be a decent one on here somewhere. Right? Let's have a look. Just getting a good quality one, isn't it? There we go. I can read you one. It's like Bootneck story time. Stop me if you don't want me to, and I won't. But sounds like a good idea, right? Now, I'm not guaranteeing I can do the voices or anything. But hang on, I'm gonna have to adjust the screen, aren't I? It's like I can't fit all that on. Hang on. There we go. This is easy, this technology. Right. I'll read you an episode. Bootneck story time. Militant and her radical conscience. So, everybody see that all right? Yeah, there we go. Ooh, that's a nice jumper, Millie. Is it new? It's lovely on. How nice of Adrian to notice. It's lovely when someone pays a compliment. If any other man had said anything like that, I might have felt threatened. But as Adrian is gay, I know his words are genuine and inoffensive and have no intimidating heterosexual undercurrent. Having thought that, he is actually a man in physical terms and therefore has testosterone in his veins, giving him a certain amount of masculine qualities, however repressed. There may be a possibility that his comment could have come from some deep, subconscious part of his masculinity. If he has indeed repressed a hidden masculine psyche throughout his relationships with Cedric, then it has been bottled up for 34 years. That's a lot of male aggression to come out in one moment. Perhaps his comment was the beginning of his repressed aggression being freed and will develop into a rabidly frenzy of testosterone-fueled male madness. Before I know it, he may have thrown me to the ground and will be forcing his swollen phallus against me, time and time again, pawing my breasts with his filthy hands. As he does so, yes, pawing them and slamming his pelvis against mine again and again. Rape! Tss, mace in the face. So there we go. Bootneck story time. That's better than people reading the Gruffalo to kids, isn't it? Anyway, like Jack and Ori with swearing, although there wasn't any swearing in that. It was a bit weird for the Viz, isn't it? I'll maybe if I get any requests, people enjoyed that, I'll do another one tomorrow, and I'll find something a bit more risque. I do have loads of Viz on my hard drive, so I'll have a look through them. If I can get it to work without having to open a web browser, we'll do Bootneck Story Hour at the start of every BBC Spews, and I'll read you some Viz comics. Biffa Bacon was always my favourite because his mum and dad are fucking quality. They just knock the shite out of him all the time. Yeah, there you go. Bedtime stories for grown-ups. I don't have a very pleasing voice though, do I? You know, if you want to do like, it seems like if you want to do that ASMR shit that people do. I actually had to Google that because I didn't even know what ASMR was. Apparently people like it when you do, you know, whispering into a fucking microphone. Apparently that's a thing, but I've never heard anyone have a dirty northern accent like me. So it's probably posh blokes women like to listen to doing while they're asleep. Like, oh, I say, darling, you know, Mr. fucking Darcy type stuff. And if there has ever been any man who doesn't sound anything like Mr. Darcy, it's me. Buster Gonad, yeah, I might read you a Buster Gonad tomorrow. We'll see. Oh, not tomorrow. I don't do Wednesdays. Thursday. Another thing I'm going to do with this may annoy people, but I'm going to start trying to splice up some old videos and put like, you know, shorts on, because it seems like it's a good way of getting a bit more traction. Obviously I didn't want to irritate people into putting, like, if there's a really good bit and someone, because people will give me suggestions and that, and so like that 5 minutes was really funny, you should you should make a short about it, or you should splice that in somewhere. And I never do it because I don't want to annoy people and have like repeating myself. So if I do say something in this conversation that would make probably a good 5 minute short, I don't want to make a video about that and piss people off who are regular viewers and be like, oh, for fuck's sake, I've already heard this. But I'm going to do a couple just because it's like, it seems like an easy way to do some content that's decent and people might enjoy. Because as I said before, frankly, I think I'm better at this than a lot of people on fucking YouTube, and I'm still perplexed that I can't get my subs any higher. And I'm aware that Susan, my arch nemesis, is obviously cock blocking me at every fucking turn. Damn her. But I still think I should be doing better than I am, to be honest. I don't think that's false modesty, right? You know, I don't practice that bullshit. I tell it straight as it is. And I don't think I'm terrible at this. So I find it really weird that I can't get any more traction, even despite Susan's best efforts. So I'll do that. If it pisses you off, sorry. Right, let's do some news, shall we? Yeah, everybody ready for action? Strap yourselves in. Bootneck bits. That sounds a bit, that sounds vaguely pornographic, bootneck bits. There'll be a lot of, like, you know, middle-aged housewives expecting to see, you know, like those Chad calendars they always make with, like, firemen and soldiers on. That sounds vaguely sexy to me. I'm not doing any sexy time. I think YouTube are responsible. Yes, I do, yes. Curse them. But they have the best platform and everybody goes on it. If you try and bugger off to Odyssey or BitChute or something, you get about 3 people watching. So it can't be helped, unfortunately. I think it's going to get a lot worse. And when it gets a lot worse, more and more people are going to leave. And then we might finally be able to get some real traction on other platforms. But it is hard getting away from YouTube. YouTube's the undisputed king of the castle. Ragnar, you're a good lad. I know you do. And I do appreciate everyone who does that. But yeah, it's obviously an issue, isn't it? YouTube are the king of the castle by a factor of 10,000. Like, those early stalwarts in Silicon Valley, like Twitter, Facebook, Google, YouTube, it is proper hard to dig them out. They're dug in there like an Alabama tick. Everyone must know that one, right? Everyone gets that reference, surely. Yes, Anthony, they are. They do my head in. OnlyFans. That is shocking, that, isn't it? I can't believe how many randy men are willing to spend large sums of money to have a look at some bird's wet lettuce when you can get it anywhere you like on the internet. Like, there is more fucking free 4K filth on the internet for anyone. Women, men, gays, furries, disabled, fetishists, foot fetishists, like anything you possibly think of. Yes, Jackie, it was Predator. Well done to you. Anything you can think of, there is some There is a massive collection of filth free on the internet. So you can lube up and fling yourself all around your fucking house to your heart's content without ever having to pay for it. So I don't understand why there's so many men willing to contribute to OnlyFans. What do these lads actually think they're going to get anywhere with these women? Like, if you're giving them money on OnlyFans, you think they're going to come and like knock on your front door and be like, all right, are you Bob who gave money to my OnlyFans? Yeah, I am. Yeah, fancy your gobble. It's not going to happen, is it? Well, I really don't understand it. Like, they're just going to come and knock on your front door. Oh, you're the guy who gave me $10 yesterday, aren't you? Yeah, I am. Well, I may as well give you a chew then. Yeah? I've got 10 minutes to spare. Drop your fucking kegs. Let's get down to business. It's not going to happen. So why are they doing it? Why are people throwing money at women on the internet when the internet's full of women who will happily show you what to piss with for free? I don't get it. Literally millions of them. Have you seen how many hits all the filthy porn websites get? You can look at 100,000 young women's lungs without having to pay for it. So yeah, weird. Men are weird. Quality content. This is what you come here for. Quality content. I.e. riffing on whatever strikes me as interesting in the chat. But seriously, it is weird, isn't it? It's weird. I think, lads, seriously, don't give money to women on OnlyFans. It's really, really weird. Preferably get a girlfriend, do some exercise, have a shave, brush your teeth, do the basics, and get a lass. And if you can't do that, get some 4K pornography and then one of those HTC Vives and fling yourself all around your bedroom. It's fucking quality. Enjoyable practice. Masturbating is making love to the only person that you do truly love more than anything. So crack on and do that. But you don't have to pay for it. Wizard sleeve. There is always someone willing to start using euphemisms for genitals on my chat. And I am pleased about that. Because I do that myself quite often. Some call it coif. I mean Ko-Fi. Yeah, that's an easy tip jar. But to be fair to me, I've merely suggested if you can be asked to go and give me some money for a pint. I'm not saying throw me $20 and I'll pull myself off in front of the camera. I'll whip my blue vein flute out for everyone to see in exchange for money. That's not happening. That's not happening. I wouldn't do that for any amount of money. If everyone on YouTube pitched in and said, if you did a crowdfunder and said £500,000 for the angry Bootneck to strip naked and pull himself off on a live stream, I'm telling you it wouldn't happen. So if you want to test my integrity, fucking do it. It's not happening. I'd rather be poor than debase myself on the internet. So I'm saying that. Yeah, the entrance to a welly, that's a good one. I'm saying that with all honesty. It wouldn't happen. So if you get a £1 million crowdfunder, still not happening. I won't take the money. My money is not as important to me as my self-respect, which is why I would suggest to women that they don't go on OnlyFans. It can't be good for you. It can't be good for your fucking mental health. Clown's pocket. I remember once my mate Brain sending me a text message and it was something to do with Jordan, and he said Jordan has got a minge like a clown's pocket full of dog shit. That's all, which did make me laugh. One of my favourites. Gutted fireplace, yawning hippopotamus. There's fucking loads. Burst mattress. And then how many euphemisms for slutty women? Yeah, like I've been rogered more than a copper's radio. That's a good one. Anyway, I'm going to keep going on a tangent because you guys just keep talking to me. Let's do some news. And no, I'm definitely not showing anybody my pipe for any amount of money. Self-respect, yeah. And any ladies flirting with the idea of OnlyFans, don't do it. It's a terrible idea. Right then, let's talk about this. I have to do something serious, at least for 5 minutes tonight. This is what I was talking about yesterday that I intended to discuss and completely forgot about. Because obviously it all kicked off over the weekend after I'd filmed the BBC Spews. Dartboard, I've never heard that for a genital you can use the phrase, she's so ugly she looks like she drinks under the dartboard. That's quite a common one. Or he. Looks like he drinks on the dartboard. Looks like he went apple bobbing in the deep fat fryer. Head like a melted welly. There's loads of that. But Katie Price doesn't have a minge like a bucket. It's more like a skip. Katie Price bangs like a barn door in a hurricane. This is known. Katie Price has been under more bed sheets than the leader of the Ku Klux Klan. She's a filthy bag of carrots, that one. Anyway, stop pulling me up. I was going to say stop pulling me off there. After what we've discussed earlier, I am not making any crude references towards pulling me off. Let's just talk about the news. Stop pulling me off the topic is what I was trying to say. No, stop pulling me off, because nobody is. Prophet Muhammad. Oh shit, I try not to say the M words, not the leader, not the spiritual leader, not the name of the religion, nothing. Because it seems like if you even mention it without censoring yourself via the medium of a dolphin call, somebody climbs all over your balls and bans you. So I'm going to be as taciturn and as circumspect and as reasonable and logical as I possibly can be with this story. Because I really don't want to get in trouble. You all know the story. I'll read you a couple of paragraphs and then I'll obviously give you my opinion. So a teacher who showed pupils an inappropriate, weird word to use for the BBC, because if you don't believe in any of this, surely it's not inappropriate. It's only inappropriate if you're a very, very devout practitioner of that religion. Shams is in hospital. What's the matter, Shams? Nothing too serious, I hope. Although you do live in Birmingham, don't you? Frankly, I think I'd rather take my chances out of the hospital if I lived in Birmingham. Birmingham's even worse than the borough. Birmingham, you're better off asking your boyfriend to do keyhole surgery via the medium of kitchen table and a carving knife. I'm kidding. Please get well soon, Shams. I hope you're all right. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So it's a weird term for the BBC to use, inappropriate, because it's not inappropriate to 95% of the UK who aren't believers in a very specific religion. And really, the crux of this issue, which I don't need to get into any further, because obviously we all know what went on and it's been going on for days. The crux of this issue is, are we going to have this kind of relationship with the practitioners of that faith moving forward, whereby they seem to think that even if you're not interested in any religion and you're an atheist or an agnostic, you still have to play by the rules? And this is something that I'm sure everyone that's listened to me knows. I've been an atheist, sort of agnostic, militant annoying atheist when I was in my teens and early 20s, agnostic since. But it's insane to me that people think non-believers have to join in with anything. It's lunacy. I've always had this problem with the religious groups, whether they're Baptists, Jewish, or anything else. You believe in it is totally fine, and I support your right to believe in it because I'm a liberal person. I fully support people's rights to practice their faith in whatever way they see fit, whether they are from the big theme monotheistic dogmas or something a little more wacky and out there, like Mormonism or something. Although that is technically Christianity, isn't it? To some extent. But what you don't have is the right to insist that people like me, who don't believe in any of it, adhere to these teachings. The rubber has hit the road here. And left-wing liberal people really do need to be coming forward now. I keep criticising them for not standing up for the liberal principles because they feel as if they're aligning themselves with conservatives. But you really, really have to have a long look in the mirror if you're left-wing like Owen Jones types, The Guardian, the BBC. And you're not willing to turn around and say, because this is the left-wing principle, and it always has been, we have to have a form of aggressive dimitude, secondary status for people just because they don't believe in a certain monotheism. Like, it's ridiculous. You can't demand it of people because you can't make me believe. Yeah, Richard Dawkins, The God Delusion, I read when I was 21 and I was a chippy, annoying as fuck atheist. Like I've told you guys many times, and now I'm not. Now I'm more like, as I've aged, I've seen the value of our old institutions, and I'm more agnostic. I don't really care. I'm not a chippy atheist anymore. So I'm not against religion, and everyone's free to practice it however they want. But you can't tell me, someone who doesn't believe in this faith, that I have to adhere to the rules. No more than you can tell me I shouldn't eat certain products, or I shouldn't drink alcohol, or I shouldn't gamble. In the West, you are free to drink, eat what you want, and gamble. The idea that we all have to join in with this is deeply, deeply illiberal. And the likes of Owen Jones really do need to give their heads a shake, because this is a blind spot they don't seem to be able to get over. Like, it's not in any way liberal to constantly defend an ideology that is, by its very definition, extremely conservative, right? They won't stick up for anyone who's even a centrist, like Lawrence Fox, the guy's a fascist. He isn't. But they will stick up for people who are, by every definition you can think of, very, very conservative, i.e. certain religious groups, well, all monotheistic religious groups, they're all conservative. But they'll stick up for them because they happen to be predominantly originated from a foreign country. It's the very, very definition of illogical. And I don't understand how otherwise liberal people like the BBC will basically advocate enforced religious authoritarianism in a country where it's, again, how mental are they? They talk about LGBT rights all the time. Who do you think is the one very specific group in the UK that does typically have a big problem with the LGBT community? You have to grasp this nettle at some point if you're left wing. You have to understand that this is killing your political hopes because it is so illogical. It is so fucking illogical to call yourself a liberal and constantly defend this shit. We have to join in. We have to not draw cartoons. We have to respect books we don't agree with. We don't. I don't agree with it. I don't believe in Christianity. Not to the point where, you would call me religious. Culturally, I can see the value in some of it, and that's where I'll meet them halfway now I'm older. But I don't believe in it. I don't believe that Jesus really was the Son of God. I don't believe that Abraham or Joseph or the prophet himself are really anything to do with God. So you can't tell me that I have to revere the books, not drink alcohol, or not eat certain foods, same in Judaism, that are not acceptable to followers of the faith because I'm not a follower of the faith. To me, it's as illogical as me saying, Boris Johnson coming out and say, I support Chelsea, so everybody else has to. You have to respect Chelsea. You're not allowed to burn a Chelsea jersey. You're not allowed to burn a Chelsea fucking scarf. You're not allowed to say bad things about Chelsea. I mean, that is the same thing, isn't it? Because it's a belief. I believe Middlesbrough are a fantastic football club. I really believe that. It actually even offends me a little bit when people say Middlesbrough are about as much fun to watch as seeing your grandfather get raped by 50 gypsies. That wouldn't be enjoyable. Granted. But Middlesbrough aren't that bad. I find it offensive when people say things like that about Middlesbrough. When Geordies say they are the shittest team on planet Earth, I find that a bit offensive. But because of my belief in the almighty Middlesbrough Football Club, I can't demand anybody else respects and reveres them. I can't do that. Oh God, Shams likes Albion. Middlesbrough are better than them. Do you see what I mean? Do you not think that is a good analogy? Your belief in your football team, if you absolutely love football, some people proper love it. Season ticket, spend all the money, go to every game, home and away, absolutely love the football team. But you can't tell people they have to respect your team. They have the freedom to say, fuck your team. Fuck your team. I'm not interested in your shit team. I'm allowed to do the same. Holly Ruston, don't start me on that, you necky Jezebel. Don't make me come down there. That is my pet hate. I'm sure I've explained this to you guys, and that's why Holly's winding me up. But Middlesbrough is in Yorkshire. It's not a Yorkshire reject. It has always been in Yorkshire. For the last 1,000 years, it has been in Yorkshire, and then they took it out of Yorkshire in about 1977, and then they put it back in about 1993. Because of pure politics, probably by some lefty arseholes trying to play games. Middlesbrough is in Yorkshire. Jane of Torquay, it's been a while. How are you doing? Nice to see you again. So don't tell me Middlesbrough is not in Yorkshire. Middlesbrough is in Yorkshire. I will argue with anybody that says otherwise. So don't start me on that. So yeah, that's what I've got to say about that. This is really, seriously, if you think you're a liberal and you're making the case that everybody has to respect and revere and play by the rules of one very specific religion that is by definition extremely conservative, it is more conservative than anything Margaret Thatcher ever fucking said, right? You can't call yourself a liberal. These ideologies are very conservative, especially with regards to women's rights, feminism, LGBT rights, gambling, drinking, vice, any of the things, liberal principles, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, the lot. If you're sticking up for the people demanding that this poor teacher be dragged through the streets like a wild beast because he's upset a tiny percentage of a certain religion, you aren't liberal. You don't know what liberalism is, you haven't got a clue. Mark, to be fair, they do, the ones that aren't fanatical and are loads of very, very normal centrist gay men. Because they're always in a fucking good mood, them lads, aren't they? They don't get married to women. They're fucking loving life. I'm kidding, ladies. I'm kidding. My cough's back, isn't it? Excuse me. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that. It really is massively confusing to me. I don't understand how people who think of themselves as really liberal and tolerant can constantly argue on behalf of this type of stuff. I don't have to respect and revere something I don't believe in. Just like you don't have to respect and revere Middlesbrough, you don't have to respect and revere a film I like, or a band I like, or anything else I believe in. Religion shouldn't be up on a pedestal. And we've always took the piss out of Jesus, and we've always took the piss out of religious people in general. They shouldn't get a special dispensation. And again, who's the liberal one, me? I think it's me. I'm saying, let's treat everybody pretty equally. That's what they say. Let's treat everybody equally. I'm saying treat them equally. We take the piss out of the other two big monotheistic dogmas. Why can't we do this one? Why? If they're ruling by fear and saying you can't do it because we're going to come and kill you, that's not the relationship that we should want with them. It shouldn't be ruled by fear. Or if you draw this cartoon, we'll get violent. You know, and again, I don't think these people speak for the majority of practitioners of this said religion, because most of them aren't like this. Most of them aren't going mental protesting outside the schools. We're allowing a minority to speak for a majority just because they happen to share an immutable characteristic. Well, not an immutable one because you choose your religion, but you know what I'm saying. We're allowing the worst elements to speak for all of them. And they don't. If you happen to follow a religious faith, you don't speak for anybody but yourself. Unless you're like selected to do so, like the Pope or the Ayatollah. But, you know, you just don't. I'm agnostic, but don't speak for any agnostics other than me. It's the way it works. I just find it truly fascinating. It's mind-blowing. And it's self-defeating. It's contradictory. It's ridiculous. It's cognitive dissonance on a colossal scale. To call yourself a liberal Guardian reading BBC twat, but constantly stick up for this. Censorship. No freedom of speech. Worse rights for women. Worse rights for the gay people. There's loads of conservative, same in Baptist preacher types, the Bible thumping, you know, flag wavers in the United States. A lot of them take it far too far. But they basically agree on this type of stuff. The socially liberal stuff, they agree. These guys agree. So stop defending them. You have the right to mock. You have the right to use humour. You have the right to use satire. And you certainly have the right to say, I don't believe any of this stuff, so I'm not doing what you tell me. And I would say the same if the Pope himself was telling me. Not just a bunch of protesters outside of school. The Pope himself walked into this fucking house and said, Oi, dickhead, why haven't you been going to church on Sunday? I'd say, get the fuck out of my house, Grandpa. Get out of my house, you creepy, owl, weird virgin. That's what I would say to the Pope. The Pope himself, not just a protester. So relax. Everyone has to, it's the Western world, you're allowed to take the piss out of anything you like. You're allowed to take the piss out the Queen. You're allowed to take the piss out anything we hold dear. You can take the piss out of it. Our religion, the head of state, any political leader, my mother, my ugly wife, my ugly children. You're allowed to take the piss out of all of that. I mean, seriously, isn't the personal more offensive than the political? Anyone in the chat, please tell me, what would you be more offended by? If you're religious or if you have a real love for something, would you be more offended by someone saying your religion's a load of shit and I don't believe in any of it? Or would you be offended by someone coming to you in the street and saying, is that your wife? Fuck me, she's ugly. Or is that your son? Ugly little ginger bastard. I bet you have to pull the pram. Which would be more offensive? I think the personal is more offensive than the political. Surely. Calling you an individual, you're fat, you're short, you're ugly, that's more offensive than generic broad brush terms like your religion or your fucking political affiliation. I really don't understand it. Anyway, so I've talked long enough for that shit. I told you I'd give you my opinion and you've got it. It's absurd, it's ridiculous, it doesn't make any sense, they're contradicting themselves. I'm astounded that more liberal people can't see it. Owen Jones should seriously, if he wants to be consistent, he should be coming out and saying, listen, I'm not intolerant, I'm not against anybody, I'm a very liberal lefty person and I have been for years, but you can't tell me that we don't have the right to draw what we like, to mock what we like, to do as we wish, because it's a liberal principle. So, Owen, do it. Owen, stop being an absolute shithouse and come out for once in your life and stand for something. PTSD veteran, please don't spam the chat with anything mentioning the M word, leader or ideology, because for some reason YouTube then decides that I'm evil. So please try not to. They don't even listen to what I'm saying. They just go, no, you're a bad guy. Geordies and Mackems, jealous of Borough's recent record. You are having a laugh, aren't you? At least the Geordies are still in the bloody Premier League. What time is it? Christ, time flies lately. I don't know why these are taking so long. I guess I'm getting more adept at waffling. Let's do one more. Tackling sexual abuse, not just for schools, say heads. Fucking... Moving on from what I said yesterday, right? Because seriously, this is... The crux of this issue is different from what I was talking about yesterday, right? The crux of this issue can be summed up in that one word there, right? This staggers me. It says, the problem of sexual violence and abuse is not just an issue for schools to tackle, say head teachers. Social media companies, parents, and the criminal justice system all have a role to play, say the School Leaders Union, ASCL. So I'll stop you there, right? Further to what we said yesterday, why the fuck must people insist on deflecting the work in every aspect of their lives nowadays? You know, like I was talking about Amazon, they're like, oh shit, Bezos won't let me have a piss. He will. You're just slow. You're just a bit lazy. You just want to have a 7-minute shite while you check Facebook, Twitter and, you know, your YouTube account. It's not the job of any of the people in this story to raise your fucking children to not think it's acceptable to behave like an absolute spunk trumpet. The only person whose job it is you. The parents. It's you. What do you mean the problem of sexual violence is not just an issue for schools? Nobody with any fucking brains thinks it is just an issue for schools. It's not the school's job to teach your ugly, fucked up children not to be complete mongs all the time. It's your job. If your child is violent, aggressive, sexually aggressive, gropey, weird fucker, square the little shit away. Punish them, discipline them, teach them. What do you mean it's not just the school's issue? I don't think it's the school's issue at all. At all. It's your issue. You shit parents. Fix it. When I was a kid, nobody thought anything was the school's issue. This is what's gone wrong again, because millennials, I don't count as a millennial, because I'm a little bit old. I'm in me early. I've just turned 41. Don't count as a millennial, me. I like to think I'm somewhere on the cusp of, what's the other one? Fucking Gen X, is it? Anyway, I don't care. It's nothing to do with anybody else. It's not the job of the social media company. It's not the job of the criminal justice system to do anything other than punish when it occurs and you break the law. It's not the job of teachers. It's not the job of schools. It's the fucking job of the parents. And when I was in school, everybody knew this. Because the parents weren't mongs. It's not their job. When I was a kid, if the teacher bollocked you, went mental, called you a twat and give you 3 weeks detention on the belt, and your dad found out about it, your dad would knock you about with a flip-flop for a bit and say, sort your life out, you little bastard. Don't have the teachers ringing me. Now it's the other way around. Teacher disciplines the kid, and the little spoiled bastard who's got no discipline because his parents are shit, because they haven't got the emotional fortitude to steel themselves and do what needs to be done and discipline their own kid. They'll let the little bastard run rings around the teacher, and if the teacher tries to discipline them, they go up to the school and have a go at the teacher. Why haven't you taught our son better, you useless teacher? It's a public servant. They don't get paid enough to worry about your ugly, fucked up children. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. The idea that you should palm this stuff, fucking social media companies, isn't it? What have they got to do? The problem of sexual violence and abuse. So, yeah, let me stop you there. So your son is a fucking rapist, right? He's just been brought home by the police because they caught him attempting to forcibly leap inside one of the girls in his class. He dragged her behind the bike sheds and tried to have his wicked way with her. Is it the fucking job of Mark Zuckertwat to come round your house and say, come along, son, you should be doing better at school, shouldn't you? You shouldn't be trying to fucking jam 3 digits up a stranger's skirt. It's nobody's job. I can't believe this shit makes it into the public sphere anymore. It just proves that we've gone full Mong. We are Planet Mong. Welcome to Planet Mong. That's what we are. If we're even printing this fucking drivel, even printing it proves how stupid we are. And it's this shitty far left narrative where they blame everybody else for everything. Nobody's job but yours. They do this because it feeds into the left-wing narrative. Oh, it's endemic, rape culture, patriarchy, the system. No. The parenting system. That's all we need. Discipline your children. Teach your children. It's nothing to do with the schools or the head teachers or social fucking media or the government. Jesus Christ. Have a word with yourselves. Gavin Williamson. I'm sick of reading about Gavin Williamson. Absolute soy boy that he is. Take action. It's not your job, Gavin. Not the government's job to bring up children. It's parents' job. And if they can't do it, take them off, the little bastard. We shouldn't be making it harder. We should be making it easier. Do you remember when that fat Geordie kid was like 6 years old and he was about 30 stone? And they were like, oh, should we take him off his parents? Yeah, take him off his parents. Take him off his parents, put him on a crash diet and stop the parents' benefits because they're obviously getting too much fucking money if they can feed the little butterball 60 turkey dinosaurs every day. Yeah? If he's sweating butter because you're feeding him noodle doodles all day and all night, you're getting too much money off the state, aren't you? So please spare me this nonsense. It's not nobody's job but yours. And if the teacher bollocks your kid, side with the teacher. Say, yeah, you probably deserved it, you little shit. Maybe there'll be some rare as rocking horse shit occurrence where the teacher's out of order. But 99 times out of 100, your son's been a little twat. Or your daughter. I always say sons because in my school, 9 out of 10 assholes were boys. I was one of them. Grew out of it. But you know what I'm saying. It's shocking, this. No action taken by schools. No action taken by this. No action taken by this. Action taken by parents. Have a word with yourselves. Stop motivating people to breed when they're not ready for it. Like Thomas Sowell says about how throwing money at single mothers is what basically killed the earning potential of the black community. It is. Motivating chavs to breed like wet gremlins is the dumbest thing we have ever done. It's the dumbest thing we've ever done. You shouldn't be motivating humanity to create more Mick Philpotts. Should you? Should you? We motivate Mick Philpott. We made Mick Philpott because our stupid government said, hey, if you drop your knickers on a whim, you squirt them out willy-nilly. Vdumph. This special little boy's dad is fuck knows. Vdumph. This special little boy's dad is the pizza guy. That is shocking. We have motivated people to breed when they're not ready, when they don't have a family unit, when they don't have... It's an old adage, I've read it somewhere before. All you have to do to avoid being in crippling poverty is 3 things. Graduate from high school, don't have children until you get married, and don't get married until you're at least 25. If you do those 3 things, you won't be in poverty. But we encourage teenage girls to grab their ankles out the back of the youth club if they're from a shitty town like Middlesbrough. The women in Borough get knocked up on purpose so they can get a council house. They do it on purpose. They're like, well, probably can't get a job and my dad's a cunt. Might as well get banged senseless out the back of the youthy, cover myself in crusty spunk and hope for the best, yeah? Women in Middlesbrough have been breeding young for so long. All they need to do is... Well, basically, the breed so young in Middlesbrough, I think that they've evolved so that their ovaries fry up when they're about 17. And the girls in Borough get knocked up so quickly. The snap, crackle and pop starts in their ovaries when they're about fucking 16. Like, it's shocking. It's shocking. And it's not their fault. It's the government's fault for motivating people to breed like rabbits. And then the kids, funny old thing, have shit lives, shorter lives. And they're fat and unhealthy because they're not in a good family unit. They've got no motivation. They've got no father figure typically. They've got no discipline. It's fucked. It's fucked. And again, it's mad, isn't it, that it's me and 300 people sat here talking about this stuff. Like, why is it down to me to point out this stuff? Doesn't every single person in the whole Houses of Parliament know this? Don't they know this? When you see spotty chavs with their ugly fat children, yeah, pulling the pram because they're so fucking ugly, pulling the pram up the street because these fucking mutants are just popping out left, right and Chelsea and they're all on benefits and they don't have a father figure and they don't get a good education and they're not ready for children, so they're out drinking fucking Lambrini and Wetherspoons when they should be at home looking after the kid. I can't even blame them. I can't even blame the chavs. It's us. We allow it because we tolerate it. The real blame lies with us. Then it's the politicians. But everyone knows this. Every one of you in the chat knows this. All 319 viewers know this. It's shocking. But a blind man could see it. A blind man could see it. Motivate people to have children when they're ready. And they're ready when they're not completely brassic, when they've got a husband or a wife, and when they've at least took a few steps on the career ladder. That's it. Just do that and this shit will get squared away. It's so easy. We motivate people to breed when they're not ready. And the kids are fucking useless. And like I've said many times before, I'm from Borough. I know people like this. I knew a lass, not mentioning any names, knocked up at fucking 16. And then her kid, guess what? Knocked up at 16. Scum beget scum beget scum. Although not scum, that's too harsh. I'm just being humorous like I normally am. Chavs. Chavs beget chavs beget chavs. You get 36-year-old grandmother. Fucking hell, you're going to get, what, 50-odd-year-old great-grandmother. You are. Because it never ends. It's a never-ending conveyor belt of human debris. Thanks to the welfare state. Well done, lefties. Well done. Well done. They killed the black community in the United States and now are killing the council estates in the UK. Welfare state. Cap welfare. You probably should get child benefit only for your first kid and the second one. See you later. You're not getting any more money. The Tories did some ridiculous milk toast attempt like, oh, you can only get 50 grand a year or some shit. It's like 50 grand a year. How much does it cost to buy fucking turkey dinosaurs and noodle doodles? I could feed a kid off about £8 a week, me, which is what they do, which is why they're all a fat fucking mess, because all they get is Mr. Kipling's pound Battenbergs from Aldi, and then the mum and dad spend the money on booze, tabs and scratch cards, like 8 Ace's wife, you know, microchips don't microwave themselves, you know. You know, them types. Scratch cards don't scratch themselves, you know. I look after my kids. I leave them in the fucking back room with 60 Battenbergs. That's not looking after your children. And you don't get credit for doing the basic stuff you should be doing anyway. Like, they want credit for feeding them. I feed my fucking kids. What do you mean? That's all you do, feed them. Christ almighty, you don't get credit for feeding them. I'd feed a goldfish. In fact, I'd even feed a rat because I feel sorry for it. If I seen a starved rat and it wasn't in my bedroom, I might flick it a fucking skittle because I feel bad for it. What the hell is a noodle doodle? It's like a cheap spaghetti sort of instant noodle shit that we used to get in England. I guess, yeah, instant noodles is noodle doodles. It's ridiculous. All colours and creeds are listening, Shams. Yes, because unlike a lefty, I think all colours and creeds have the capacity to learn and be civilised and normal, the same. That's why all colours and creeds listen to me, because I'm an egalitarian. I don't believe that people should be judged by their immutable characteristics. The more the merrier. Common sense. And there's people from all around the world, all around the country, and around the world that agree with me, right? Of course do, because it's common sense. I'm not saying anything that nobody in the chat doesn't know. Anyone who's grew up in a council estate knows the crack. It's terrible to motivate people to breed. You should have children only when you're absolutely ready. Bringing a new life into the world. 61, it's gone up. Oh no, it's 60 again. I thought someone just told me to set my blood pressure and my heart rate. I'll relax a bit. There we are. It's down to 59. Oh no, 63. It's going up again. I'm not particularly stressed out. I'm trying to be humorous. Anyway, it is bad. Don't breed until you're ready, and don't expect me to feed your ugly, fucked up children. And please, please, don't only feed them Battenberg from Aldi. If there's anything you really want to take away from that long political monologue I've done for the last 53 minutes, please don't give your children nothing but Battenberg. They need vitamins and minerals. They need 5 a day. Battenberg from Aldi. Unless you want to feed them like Eamon Holmes, because that's all Eamon Holmes eats, just don't do it. Right, we'll call it there. Like it, please. 322 viewers. I never ask. I forget to whinge. Please like it. Please share it. YouTube won't do it because they don't like logic and facts and reason and common sense. Jacob Rees-Mogg does, but nobody will listen to him because he's got a posh accent. Weird that, isn't it? Really weird. I've always said this as a working class Tory. Jacob Rees-Mogg is a fucking special fella. He's got a really wide-ranging knowledge of politics. They try and catch him with stuff and say things like, oh yeah, what about Clause 157? And Jacob Rees-Mogg's like, oh, well, actually, Clause 157. And he amazes me. He's a clever bloke, but because he's posh, people in the north don't like him. I prefer my political leaders to be paragons of knowledge and posh because they went to a really good school and they got a good education. Call me a bluff old traditionalist. I don't want them to talk like me, drink like me, fight like me, fuck like me, scratch cards like me, and do all of the things that people from the borough do. I want them to be paragons of knowledge and excellence and learning. If that makes me a wanker, so be it. All right, I'm off, dudes. Thanks for listening, as always. Thanks for sharing. Always appreciate it. And I'll see you all on Thursday, because I have Wednesdays off. All right? Good night, everyone. I hope everyone's morale stays high throughout the last few weeks of lockdown. And then it's Weatherspoons and titty bars for all. Woohoo! Well, maybe not titty bars. It'd be the shit. Probably have to pretend you're fondling from behind a Perspex sheet or something. All right. See you later, guys. Talk to you all soon. Bye.